Oh boy. So, okay, was it you or did Fruit Jesus break time? Because I'm, oh boy, yeah, we're taking a look at Gaim, Zi-O episode 11 and Lupinranger versus Patranger episode 41. Alright, yeah, let's get the most confusing one out of the way first. Yep, today we're talking about the Gaim episode of Zi-O. And it starts off with yeah, where Sogo already has the Gaim Ride Watch and is fighting against another Gaim. But when he goes to finish another Gaim off, that's when, for some weird reason, time just suddenly stops. And well, yeah, apparently he's just traveling into a dimension where time's broken. And who's there waiting for him? But God Kota. Yeah, somehow, even though Gaim's personal history has been overwritten by the presence of another Gaim, well, yeah, because Kota is at that point is already a god, he somehow managed to survive the timeline being overwritten because, again, it's easy to overwrite a Kamen Rider, but a little bit harder to overwrite a literal god. Okay, well, it's not exactly okay, yeah, for clarity, yeah, um, first things first, some things about Gaim. Yeah, Gaim was written by Gen Urobuchi, the guy who was also responsible for writing one of my favorite anime series of all time, Madoka Magica. And spoilers for that show, and Gaim, at the end, both of their main characters become gods. Madoka's is more. In Madoka's case, she literally was ascended to godhood after making one wowzer of a wish. Uh, in Koda's case, he managed to attain the golden fruit and gain the power of evolution. Yeah, I mean, it's not really that Koda has become a god per se. He's become a godlike being. But I'm not exactly sure if that means it overrides any historical alterations. But then again, we have seen something like that happen before a couple of times. But again, under very different circumstances. But yeah, as far as I know, Kota does not actually. Yeah, Kota as the Man of Tomorrow, or whatever his god form is called now. I don't remember him being immune to historical alterations. Whereas, in Madoka's case, because of her wish, it basically caused her to basically ascend to literally a higher plane, and thus become a fundamental concept of the Madoka universe, yeah, because she exists as the concept of the law of cycles. Any magical girl that was to become a witch simply just has their soul gem disintegrated and taken into Madoka's little godverse. Whereas with Koda, basically what he did was just take all of Helheim Forest and the Invest and well, yeah, he just went back to he just went and created his own home planet. And yeah, because Koda now somehow exists outside of time, he was able to pluck the Sogo from. Okay, he was fighting another Gaim in on let's see, November 21st, 2018, and sent him back in time to 2 or 3 days beforehand to basically go and lead Tsukiyomi around to finding another way to defeat another Gaim while trying to rescue Gates, who had been placed into the Helheim Forest because of another Gaim's powers. Again, this episode's really convoluted. It basically anybody who's seen Back to the Future 2, where Marty McFly was trying to track down Biff and get back the sports almanac while avoiding the other Marty McFly who was going through the events of the first movie. It's kind of like that, only they don't bother to address the whole idea that if the two Sogos meet, it could create a universe collapsing paradox. Yeah, okay. Again, to use Back to the Future 2, it's basically what happened when the two Lorraines met. Annoying. Oh no, not Lorraine. It was oh yeah, when the two Jennifers met. Yeah, instead of creating a universe-ending paradox, they just both fainted. And yeah, at the end of the episode, both the 3-day future Zi-O and the past Zi-O actually team up to try and drive back another Gaim. And okay, if it seems like I'm being disjointed, it's because the episode is just making my head hurt trying to recount it. it's really disjointed because the two Sogos keep swapping in between each other with present Sogo just kind of just wandering off and trying to figure things out on his own, whereas future Sogo is leading Tsukiyomi about around to where they should be going, and sometimes they swap back and forth, and it's really confusing. And okay, let me just try and find a little bit of a grounding point here. Yeah, okay, the identity of another Gaim. Another guy was a member of Team Baron who was kicked out back around 2013. And no, it's not Shura, the guy who would eventually become Kamen Rider Black Baron during the Kamen Rider Knuckles special. It's another guy named Ashura. See, there's a difference there. There's an A there instead of there's an A in front of his name instead of an S. But yeah, anyways, Ashura was a guy who got kicked out of Team Baron because, well, well, the guy was a power-hungry asshole, and Team Baron is being led by the power-hungry asshole Kaido Kumon, aka Kamen Rider Baron. But yeah, because Ashura got booted out, Schwartz showed up and just, well, like he did with another Forza, just slammed the another Gaim ride watch into him. He became Gaim, and, well, the first thing he did, well, as another Gaim, he has the ability to open up the terrace in space to go in, open up the cracks to the Helheim Forest, and that's basically what he's been doing to members of Team Baron who haven't been following his new rule. Starting off with Kaido, and slowly but surely just picking off the rest of the team members that spoke out against him until he was the one calling the shots and basically just ruling Team Baron with an iron fist for 5 years straight. And yeah, and yeah, well, before that, the Time Jackers actually tried to try and get Gates to join their side with the mutual goal of taking down Zi-O. But again, because Gates is the real protagonist of the show, he doesn't go along with it because he knows that the only reason they want Zi-O out of the way is so they can put one of their another riders in charge and take the change the future to suit their interests. Whereas Gates just wants to, create a world where they're not being ruled by a sadistic tyrant Kamen Rider. So yeah, the Time Jacker Gates alliance does not work out, and when Gates tries to confront another guy, he just gets sent to the Helheim Forest for his trouble and runs into Kaido. And yeah, according to Kaido, he's been wandering around in the Helheim Forest for 5 years. Yeah, that immediately raises more than a few red flags. As you all know, at the end of the for those who don't know, sorry. Yeah, I hate saying "as you all know." I slip of the tongue. Anyways, for those who don't know, Kaido at the end of Kamen Rider Gaim became an invest-like creature, an overlord called Lord Baron. And yeah, he basically consumed the Helheim fruit, turned into Lord Baron, and was the final boss for Kota to face as soon as he claimed the golden fruit at the end of Gaim's story. And yeah, no, Kaido wasn't the final boss. It was between Mitsuzane Kurashima, aka Kamen Rider, let's see, Ryugun. Yeah, Ryugun. And a movie exclusive villain who would come back, who would take on the form of Kamen Rider Jam. But yeah, that's another different thing here and there. Yeah, so Kaido's been wandering around in the Helheim Forest for 5 years, and yet he still looks like himself. That immediately raises a couple of red flags that hopefully I'm guessing at some point he's going to transform into Lord Baron. Yeah, even though, again, because Gaim's history was overwritten, but yeah, as shown at the end of Gaim, Kaido not only had the strength of will to get control of his infest form and still retain his humanity, but also to switch between his invest and human form at will. So, it would make sense for him to actually be Lord Baron in this timeline, still stranded in Helheim. But yeah, for right now, Gates is the only one that Kaido can really rely on to help get out of the Helheim Forest. But yeah, Kaido actually does call Gates' determination, calls his quest to actually kill Sogo and stop Zi-O permanently into question. Because, well, yeah, when Gates tells him what he's going to do, Kaido just says, "Yeah, I'm not really hearing that conviction in your voice." Yeah, I'm guessing because, yeah, Sogo actually is starting to get through the gates, and given that slight little glimmer of hope that, that this guy, this Kamen Rider, is not going to become the Demon King that completely wrecks the world's shit in a couple of years' time. Yeah, that's still small hope that that little possibility that he's not dealing with the Demon King is giving him pause and actually killing him. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly sure what Gates is going to be doing afterwards. I mean, he still says he is probably going to kill Zi-O, or is he just going to go back with what Tsukiyomi's doing and try to guide Sogo to actually becoming an actually decent being? Or as Sogo likes to call it, I'll be a good Demon King. Uh, hmm, a good Demon King. Yeah, again, still stupid no matter which way you slice it. Anyways, yeah, another guy has been running around, going on, just basically taking control of his team for 5 years straight. And oh yeah, when Sogo, okay, I can't even remember which one it was. Yeah, the future Sogo has. Oh God, this is actually reminding me of that Futurama. Anyone remember Futurama Bender's Big Score? Yeah, yeah, how are we going to resolve the two Sogos? I mean, one of them is a time travel paradox duplicate, and anyone who's seen Bender's Big Score knows that one of them has to be squished or die in order to resolve any time altering paradoxes of the two beings being existing in the same time. So they're just ignoring that. I'm going to assume because again, Japan knows next to nothing when it comes to proper time travel stories, save for let's see, Steins Gate, uh, Time Ranger, Chrono Trigger, the Yongo Net movies, and Madoka Magica. Yeah, so the Tsukiyomi and even Waz is just as confused as everyone else. That sometimes the Sogo actually knows more than he should. Like when another guy was created, how he already got the ride watch from this version of Coda. And oh yeah, there's now two Codas. There's the Coda that was modified by the time stream and is running Droopers now. When he showed up at the doorstep 5 years ago, because well, he never became Gaim, so he decided to actually get a real job like he was originally planning to. And then there's Fruit Jesus. Yeah, a normal Kota Kazuraba, Fruit Jesus. And both of them are existing simultaneously because one's a god, because shut up. Oh god, this episode makes my head hurt. Jeez. Yeah, oh boy. So yeah, next episode we're gonna be stuck with the two Sogos, and we're gonna see how another Gaim is properly dealt with, and see the proper chain of events that led to Future Sogo, where he runs a Dakota, somehow manages to get the Gaim ride watch, and then we just move on as it was. Uh, I'm sorry if this whole vlog seems like it's completely jumbled and confusing mess. It's because this episode is a jumbled, confusing mess. I mean, I'm probably going to need to rewatch it a few times again just so I can actually get facts straight, like which Sogo is which. I mean, you can tell which one's which because of the different shirts and all that, but God, just thinking about it makes my head hurt. Okay, this is okay. Now we're starting to get into Shirakura Town, people, where logic gets completely chucked out the window and just focus on, ooh, look, there's two Zi-Os. One of them has the Tajo armor, and the other one's normal. They're both kicking another guy's teeth in. And yeah, why did it have to be this writer that they start getting the writing all screwy? I mean, yeah, Kamen Rider Gaim was my absolute favorite. It is one of my top 5 writer series. I mean, yeah, Gaim was, yeah, I mean, let's see, it was right after Wizard, which was really just kind of boring to me. And yeah, let's see, Gaim was basically Rule 63 Madoka Magica, only instead of Soul Gems, they have Lock Seeds. Again, maybe it was just because I saw a lot of Madoka and Gaim, but still, it's a damn good writer series. But is it better than from what I've heard? Some people are saying it's better than Kamen Rider Black, which was like one of the top Showa writer series. And well, I haven't really seen all of Black. I've seen more than a fair chunk of it. Um, the thing to keep in mind is that they're being judged by two different eras and types of storytelling. But personally, I mean, I like Gaim just fine, even if it did get sidetracked by the whole tie-in to the Kikaider reboot movies. Ugh. And well, again, X8 is also definitely a good writer series. So if you want to get into Kamen Rider, I recommend either with Double, O's, Gaim, or X8. But okay, enough stall. All right, I'm just yeah. Long story short, this episode is really damn confusing, and is only gonna probably hopefully get more. Hopefully, it'll be less confusing next week. But on to something that's considerably less confusing. We have Lupinranger versus Patranger episode 41. And yeah, comparatively, this episode's plot is insultingly easy. It's like the last filler episode before the concluding story arc, so, whatever. And it's another Lupinranger focused episode, specifically around Tuma and Umika. Yeah, they've been following Kyrie around because he's been off wandering around town more than usual, aside from just him, skipping out on the chores at Julero's. And we find out at the end of the episode what that is, but in the meantime, Umika and Tuma get attacked by a gangler called, Dugong Manatee. Yes, he is a Dugong Manatee themed gangler. And yeah, the only interesting thing about him is that he's not just some brute force grunt, but actually specializes in, utilizing his, research onto the various teams to actually try and get advantage. But other than that, he's not exactly one for muscle. And so he counters this by, in combination, using his Lupin collection piece, which is able to create a smoke barrier. I don't exactly remember what it was based off, but again, it creates creates a fog to obscure their vision. And his normal power is to shoot lasers out of his eyes and when they hit their target, it causes them their worries and insecurities to just escalate completely out of control. And basically, they start worrying over nothing and just leaving them as paranoid wrecks. And yeah, basically just like, oh god, did I remember to leave the stove off? Oh god, did I remember? What if I didn't tie my shoelaces correctly? Oh god, what if my bills didn't get set on time? Oh god, what if he's running? What if Kyrie's running away with some office clerk? Yeah, basically they just get completely overwhelmed with worrying to the point where I'm almost expecting little Slugger to show up and smack on side their heads. That's Dugong Manatee's power is to infect his opponents with paranoia. But again, aside from that, there's not really much going on in this episode. And it just tries to play off as some sort of trust exercise, with Noel being jealous of Kyrie that his teammates actually are that concerned about him to develop these types of worries over him. But again, there's not really a whole lot of plot going on today. Although the one highlight of this episode is that, the reason why Kyrie was shirking out more often than usual is because he found a puppy. Yeah, he found a little white puppy while he was out and about, and he was looking for a place to. He was taking care of it while looking for someone to take him in. That's it. And yeah, again, this episode was just like the last little bit of fun filler before the final story arc. And yeah, the only thing alluding to that was, again, basically just reminded that Destra was at the very end of his rope, and Ghosh is looking to try and take advantage of it. So, yeah, basically, one we have insultingly confusing and annoying, and the other is just... Ugh. It's just a pedestrian, not just fluff filler episode in like the biggest, most literal sense of the word. Fluffy filler. All right, so yeah, another short one. So yeah, next time when we get to the main meat of Lupinranger versus Patranger, the final story arc, hopefully now I'll get something more interesting to work with, and then I'll try to untangle the time travel Gordian knot that is the Gaim arc of Zi-O. So until then, later. I'm gonna go get myself some aspirin. Bye.